Honest Abe here, starting the third official event of the Great Smoke. One of our TGS drops. Here with me tonight is the man they call the GOAT, Alex Tavella, and we are dropping the Southern Draw TGS release, wonderfully titled Evening Stock. Unfortunately, I'm broadcasting from the house today. So I didn't get even a chance to smoke it, but I bought one for Brandy and myself to smoke on the patio on the lanai after the show.
I got to tell you, I'm super interested to hear about this cigar because it I don't know that I've ever had a cigar that comes with like instructions and and I dig it. I dig it.
Humidity level instructions. Yes.
Yeah, I dig it. So I'm really interested in this. Really interested in this. Are you first? Yes, Kevin Shahan, you were first to comment. Congratulations.
Oh, is that a thing?
I don't know. Maybe it used to be a thing. What was it? IJBE? That kind of died.
I just beat everybody. Yeah. Well, I mean, that started becoming like a full-time job.
So,
trying to beat people, IJBE.
Before we get going, for those of you that maybe got your tickets a little later, haven't seen the first or second broadcast, and are here for the first time for the third release. This is how will work. At some point during the show, I'm just going to randomly pop the inventory in, and that's when it will be live for the TGS exclusive Evening Stock by Southern Draw. So there'll be no heads up. But in the meantime, if you have not already, this is your chance to go ahead and get your reference ID, get yourself logged into your account. And we've even made it a little simpler. There's a little tab that says TGS Store on the homepage. Just click that store, get yourself logged in, get yourself ready. This way you won't have any issues when the product becomes live.
He's always thinking.
I wish I thought of it a couple weeks ago, but hey, better late than never.
Always getting better. So
yes, Kevin, you can get 2 bundles during the show. Correct.
Kevin knows the rules. Hashtag knows the rules.
Knows the rules.
Hashtag knows the rules. Well, we have a special guest ready to join us tonight. Tell us a little bit about this evening stock. I really can't tell you. I'm really jealous right now because typically I've been saving smoking this cigar for our drops because, we've kind of discussed this before. We've been doing small microblend projects with manufacturers now for over a decade, going on 13 years, 14 years. And these TGS projects aren't involved like our microblends where, for months and months, we're going back and forth trying out different blends. We reach out to manufacturers and ask if they'd like to make something special for the event, and they just kind of run with it. So we kind of really never know what we're getting. And typically I've been smoking them on the show, but
like a consumer, we smoke them like a consumer on the show.
Like a consumer trying it for the first time. And my son woke up not feeling well. So he had strep throat. So the girls had to go do something. He had to stay home. So I had to kind of run home and do the broadcast from home. So I cannot light up during the show. I would sit outside, but the sound and the lighting would just be awful. Yeah. So I'm going to watch you smoke it until afterwards. And then we'll go out in the line. I bought one home for me and my wife, Brandy. Yeah, we're gonna smoke it right after the show and see how things are going. But let's bring on our special guest so he could tell us about this little creation we have here, Robert Holt of Southern Draw Cigars.
All right, coming live from the frozen tundra of Texas, apparently.
Like literally.
Yeah, there he is.
That is the truth. I'm sure sunny Florida is actually seeing the darkness now, but. Again, the crack in the I tell you what, Alex, this sounds like you just opened a box of Rice Krispies, put it into the bowl, poured the milk, and it's snap, crackle, pop. Everything with ice is breaking, splintering, and I'm sitting out in the cold so that I can smoke a cigar with you guys because my wife will not allow me to smoke in the house. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, I know. One day I'll have my own room to be able to smoke in the house.
I've been saying that for years. Not gonna happen.
Abe's the same way. It's outside.
I don't have it either.
At least in Florida, where we don't have to put on multiple layers of clothing to smoke.
We have.
Unlike Alex, though, at least I could go out on my back patio and smoke. This poor guy can't even smoke in his facility.
That's
Right.
not good. It is time to pack it up and move to your own cardboard box on the other side of town. But I have an office a mile from here. I have 3 offices in our home, 2 storage rooms in our home, and no place to smoke indoors. So I've got no room to scrutinize your decisions, sir.
So, Robert, when first off, I want to thank you. Robert actually came to us in before the 2022 Great Fest, and he expressed his interest in he'd like an opportunity to make something. We said we'd love to have you. We can only ask 4 or 5 people, and we try to get around to companies we'd love to work with. So he actually came to us. We said absolutely positively. So thank you very much for making something special for our TGS attendees and those who continually support this event. But I got to pull it up on my phone because we have to reach out to our manufacturers to help us write copy and tell us a little bit about the cigar so we can get some kind of description. And what Alex was talking about before is something I really haven't seen in a description is intended to be maintained at lower relative humidity, 60 to 64, or simply dry box for a day or two versus removing from a humidor and removing cello and lighting. Best enjoyed after dinner, a meal intended to be fuller bodied and fuller flavored. Recommended to be cut straight only. So that's another thing I haven't seen before. Cut recommendation. I guess LaFleur did have that little
Thingy
on the chisel, but not just for a typical Vitola. I've never seen it. And then smoke slowly to allow the complexities to, I like this word, unfurl. To allow the complexities to unfurl. A heavy smoke, but smooth on the palate after expelled. Clean finish without the heavy, your vocabulary teacher was stellar, right? Without the heavy viscosity of typical Maduro cigars and strong Ligeros. So you have to tell our listeners who have joined us tonight, this really exquisite explanation of a cigar.
Well, first of all, we're honored and we appreciate it. It's going back to the starry-eyed beginnings of Southern Draw cigars. When you think you know something and you get provided access to the best factories and the best tobaccos and the best, godfathers, kings, queens of industry, and you have this plan. And this plan is to utilize certain tobaccos that you've enjoyed in other blends or other brands and that really stuck with you and impacted you. This is where I came from, right? So in my mind, the tobaccos in this particular cigar were the beginning of Southern Draw cigars. So this is a San Andreas Maduro wrapper, but the binder on this is that very coveted San Andreas Natural, which I also love and adore, and we'll talk about that in a moment. And then we go into the classic, Honduran and Nicaraguan Corojo in 99 and Criollo 98. Obviously, make up a lot of composition for filler combinations. Now, the other part of that was in love early on with Connecticut broadleaf, mainly because our friends Skip and Michael over at Roma Craft. I was in love with those particular tobaccos, but I couldn't get the volume I needed to do anything, to launch a blend that utilized that beautiful Connecticut broadleaf. Now, and the final thing was a very particular cigar experience that I truly loved, the Dominican Piloto Cubano Ligero, and it just had this essential flavor profile and strength. So I go in to the factory and I request access to these tobaccos, and with a lot of coordination with other tobacco processors in Esteli, I was given access. And this particular cigar was blended almost exact ratios as we're enjoying it today. Now, when you get down to the price of this cigar, it would have bankrupted Southern Draw in the first year. We would have not been able to sell any. And I can tell you that the MSRP in 2014, had we launched with this particular cigar, would have been $17.99.
Whoa.
So it's a no-go. It's a non-starter. But I truly enjoyed it enough that I knew at some point we would get an opportunity to go back to revisit what I say are my starry-eyed beginning of what I wanted to accomplish. I wanted something that truly meant something to me at every level. And that description that I gave you is because there's been a 10-year period, guys. There's been a 10-year period where we've been able to smoke samples in different sizes, formats, obviously RH. And what we found is this is a heavier cigar with a heavier wrapper. As you can hold it, you can feel how firm it is. I think at higher RHs, it gets a little soft, it gets a little pliable, and I don't enjoy it as much. It doesn't burn as clean. The smoke is not as clean. It has a little bit of a residue when it's softer, and I would just caution people to do it right now. This is a heavier cigar. It needs to be a little drier, a little less humidity on that wrapper. It's going to be, I'm sitting outside in 28 degrees, and I lit it right when we came on, and it's literally in this cold Arctic blast. It's burning perfectly because this cigar actually was about 62 RH when I pulled it out yesterday for the show. And much like yourselves, I just pulled a pack, and I pulled them out, tested them up. Brother Kevin and his little tools that's on his show there, I went and tested it out, and I said, hey, all right, 62, just what I thought it was going to be in the range. So that's kind of a bit of the history. It was my dream to release this blend, but the reality of it is we couldn't afford to do it in any volume. Starting out, we didn't know if we're going to make 50,000 or 500,000 cigars, or in this case, a couple of million a year. But I knew we couldn't afford it. Whatever it was, we couldn't afford it back then. We probably can't afford it now, but because you guys said we're going to do 300 bundles, plus I knew we needed a few for us to enjoy, I thought, hey, that's like going out to a nice steak dinner with a nice bottle of wine once a year is okay. We can't do it every day, but this is our steak dinner. This is our nice bottle of wine. 5 courses, whatever you want.
I got to share something classy too that Robert really does often enough, right? So when we do these projects, we ask for at least 300 bundles, right? We want to give enough people the opportunity to take home something special that's unique to this event. Across 5 different companies, that's 1,500 unique bundles. So somebody wanted to grab something unique and special that's really tied only to this event, they pretty much have a good opportunity to. So, but we get 300. We never get 301. We never get, sometimes they'll get 299 because one gets crushed or damaged, but we get 300. And Robert sends, we open one for photography, to make the nice, cool little video intro that you saw. And, we'll divvy up some of the sticks and let everybody try some, but, Robert sends 5 extra bundles, no charge, mind you. I mean, for the team, so that everybody can have a chance to try a cigar. That's just a class move. I wanted to give you a little credit and acknowledge that for you, Robert. That's such a nice gesture.
Well, we appreciate it. Obviously that probably has more to do with Sharon than Robert. I would have rather kept.
Sorry, Sharon.
Let's pass the love. We're due, but if we've learned nothing else in the last decade. If we're going to put cigars in people's hands, it must start with our retail partners and our sales associates and the folks that are moving and photoing and sharing and pitching the deal, right? We do business now for a good number of years because I had a good relationship with AJ Smokes. And, it got to a point where I remembered that we've got to put cigars in your hands because it's quite easy just to kind of pass it on down as an exclusive or a limited or whatever. But unless you've experienced it, I don't know how you could possibly get behind it with fervor and energy. And it's just what we're going to do. And we're appreciating that you guys are smoking them too. I mean, in the end, if you wanted to sell them, you could have sold them, but we appreciate the fact that they were intended to be smoked by staff and that's what you're doing with them.
I have to say, I'm dry drawing on the cigar. Oh, there's a call. It's live.
We're live, folks.
You have the ability to pick these up. Now, I have to say, Alex, I mean, you already lit yours, so it's probably all changed already, but I'm finding the cigar to have a unique smell. The aroma on this is distinctive and unique, and I like it.
Mm-hmm. It's very interesting because it's really nicely full in body of smoke. And again, there's a difference between strength and body, and it's really nice in a full body of smoke. But it's not overwhelming strength wise. It's not a punch in the face power bomb. There's really complex, like full flavors going on, and this is really well done. This is very, very enjoyable. Clearly, I'm going to fire right through this thing by the time this broadcast is over. But I'm really enjoying this, and this is what, a
6.5 by 48.
6.5 by 4, another 48. We love a 48 ring gauge too. Great size.
I like it when it's less than 7 too.
Yeah.
By 48, 6.25, 6.5. I like it.
And again, I think if this cigar came out years ago, it would have been a 6 by 52. It would have been a 6 by 60, and it would have been a 5.5 by 54, which are our standard Robusto Toro Gordo. And we would have never enjoyed it because we weren't large enough, and we didn't get enough real estate to add some fun sizes, right? Short Churchill. Whoever thought about that? I mean, this could fit in a lot of ranges, right? 6.5, 48. But
Sure.
I smoked about 10 sizes, and for me, this was the size that stuck in my mind and was memorable for me. And I was like, you know what? This is what we're going to go with.
Bill, yes, you should be able to enter the TGS store, change a quantity to 2. You should be able to order 2 bundles. No option to add 2. That's from our man Sean Correa. So that would be a GOAT technical thing. They're saying you have no option to change it to 2.
I'm checking.
So we'll get it straightened out, folks. Hang tight. Yeah. The packaging is gorgeous, by the way. I like the packaging. I'm at home. I don't have a bundle with me. It's literally on my office next to my computer where I was planning on doing the broadcast. But I saw you have one. I like the unique art. This was all Southern Draw.
Yeah.
Evening Stock TGS edition. Now, where did the name Evening Stock come from?
Well, ironically, everything in its Southern Draw has a flora, fauna reference and multiple, background stories. But this one is the Evening Stock is a family of flowers, Abe, that typically blooms right at dusk, right as the sun drops. It's the first flowers to come out, and it typically, the higher and the fuller the moon, the brighter and the more that these blossoms come out. But it coincides with the evening right after dinner where these things come out and they stay out all day or all night. And then the next morning as the sun rises, they wither away and they turn to seed and they never open again. So It was really intended to be an evening stock, a stock that you get to enjoy after dinner, after family time, to sit down and reward yourself for a nice day. And, once you finish that cigar, again, it turns the seed. It's over. It's done. And savor them, and enjoy them and appreciate them, but for what they are. But that's what evening stock is. It's just a reference to that short period of time that flower blooms, brings some joy and some beauty, and poof, it's gone like a fart in the wind,
It's kind of a fitting name. Now, as a more extremely boutique manufacturer, I'm always curious about this. Do you find that when you have to work on these more exclusive, extremely low run, comparatively projects, do you find it more difficult? Because for me, I'm always wondering, especially guys in your situation where you're working with other guys who are making the cigars for you and relying on them. Do you find projects like this to be more difficult for you?
I wouldn't say more difficult, Abe. I would say they take the same amount of preparation, planning, execution as a production of 250,000 Rose Toros that we would do at a time, right? But also understand that the days of trying to blend and to produce 10 or 20 samples of every blend and sizes and formats and shapes is over for us. We did it years ago. And we have a book, and we have the tobaccos that correspond to those. So we know what we have to play with. What we've got to do is focus about 85, 90% of our effort on our core blends and sizes and maintaining that real estate, growing that real estate. And then we get to play. We get to have some fun on the other side, which is find the right opportunity where someone will appreciate that particular cigar that you wanted to release but couldn't release, and plug that thing in and plug it in. Let's go enjoy it, because you may come back and go, man, we really want this to be a full-time cigar. And I've got to be prepared for that as well. We don't really ever invest in something because we hope we get to run 300 bundles and never see them again. That's not our objective. Our objective is find something that people want, they demand, they request, you come back and go, hey, we got to do this. We've got to add it, because then we really win. But if we don't, we had a great time doing it, but it doesn't take less effort for sure than anything else we've done.
Did you want to say something else? I saw you put your hand up.
Yes. So you don't have to change the quantity to 2 because you can only purchase 2. When you hit add to cart, that green button will turn into and just say add more, and you click the green button again, and it'll add another one.
Interesting. Okay.
And he's 3 for 3. He's 3 for 3.
Was he really?
He's 3 for 3. I saw his comment and I had to look. So Robert, Steven has been the first person.
We have to do something special if he goes 5 for 5.
We did. We there was you said it
What
was.
did we say we were going to do?
You didn't, but you said it was going to be mega. So he has been the first person to purchase each TGS limited release so far this year. The first purchaser. You didn't give it.
You got me checking. Yeah, he was him, man.
He's first. He was first.
Wow.
Quick draw.
He's got some server speed.
He's got some server
speed. As soon as Alex raised his hands, he hit it, boy. It was on. Wow.
I'm telling you, he is.
Yeah, you didn't specify, Abe. You said on the list, but you said you'll make it.
Okay, so now okay, good thing I'm remembering this. Now, do we know? Can you look him up? Is he coming live or is he a virtual ticket holder?
Let's see.
Because it could affect what we do.
Sure.
I need to know. I only got about a little over 30 days left to plan something.
He's virtual.
Virtual. Okay. All right. Not as exciting, but we will figure something out. Nice. Wow. 3 for 3. All right. Well, good stuff. So, Robert, let me ask you a question. Look, I love guys who work it, right? You're one of these guys, you're always out there, you're working it, you're communicating, you're with the people, whatever. How do you see where your company's at today? Are you where you want it to be? And what are some of the big hurdles that you're seeing that you feel like, because that's what we do every year. We look at the year, what are our big obstacles in 2023? What do we want to, what's our hurdles in 2023 that we are looking to overcome, at least in this 12-month period? And where is your company at with that?
Oh, let me count the ways. It's like you were listening to last weekend's annual sales and family meetings, because this is obviously family. And in the end, I do whatever my wife says. And that's the true story for the most part. Where are we?
Was I the only one, or did everybody freeze up?
What's that?
Was it just me, Alex?
Yeah, that was just you. We're good.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I lost everything for about 10 seconds. So I'm sorry to interrupt. Go ahead, Robert.
No. I don't think we're where we want to be. I think we've come to a reality of we're at max capacity for Sharon, Ethan, and Alex, which is our operations manager, as far as full-time every day. We have great partners. We have a great family. But as far as functions in the company on a daily basis, we're no different than anybody else. Supply chain is affecting what we do. The days of just-in-time inventory, being able to move on the fly, are gone. You've got to plan now 12, 18, 24 months if you're going to execute and keep your core products that keep the lights on, that earn you that real estate that I mentioned earlier. I don't think we're anywhere near where we want to be. We think over the last 3 years, especially since COVID, we've had health issues. Our son has really serious health issues. It pulled us off the daily interaction with retailers and customers for the most part. I mean, I used to do 330, 340 days a year for 8 years, right? But the health has pulled it back a little bit, and the other demands. So the outcome, it's a great question, because the result of these meetings and internal dialogue is we've got to get back to our roots. No matter what, we've got to spend more time on the road, in shops, with customers, and we've got to probably spend more time focused on the core brand, core product, national brands than we do on Robert Holt's fun projects, because I love projects. I just didn't adore them. But the reality of it, I think at some point kind of takes away from our effectiveness as an overall company. So we're self-aware. We need to do better. We need to get back to where we started. We need to fortify our team and our family, and probably we need to add a very strategic partner in order to be able to produce the numbers that we need to keep things in inventory, keep them properly imported, warehoused, distributed. we've gotten better for 10 years, but now we're to a point where we actually need to step this game up. And we've actively discussed some very strategic partners in the industry, and we're just trying to, not for the sake of change, we're trying to make the right decisions for us that will allow us to put all of our energy, effort, and our resources into what made us us, which is serve other people. Spend as much time. Never ever turn down an opportunity to spend time with people that buy and sell your product. And in our case, it's cigars, and we've got to get back to that. That's got to be our priority moving forward.
I don't think anyone with a mindset for success ever feels like, never gets to the point where they don't feel like we need to get better. I think we need to get better is just the day-to-day slogan. For those really with a success mindset for success. Over the years, I've seen a lot of smaller boutique companies come, go, grow. The phenomenon. And I don't even know, because I've seen it, but I don't even know if the brand owners are conscious of it, or if they're really conscious when it starts to happen. But when you're a brand and you are starting out, you really have to work. You're walking into a place, most people haven't heard your company name, the patron haven't come in asking for it. So getting your product on shelves is difficult in the very beginning. It is a straight uphill climb, and as time goes on and the reputation of your product and your company grows, that climb starts to level out. And for some people, eventually starts getting like this. And, have you gotten to the point where, it's becoming easier to get in store shelves and recognizable, and, that has it leveled out? Has it started tilting forward for you yet at all?
I would say that it was much easier, maybe based on personality and just the desire to spend time with people, to get the product on shelves than it has been in the last 3 years to keep it on shelves. A lot of competition, a lot of new brands. Now think about it. When the FDA issue came out, everybody kind of got scared and ran. The little brands went and hid away. They went and hid away for years, and they came back. Other people that had all these goals and dreams and desires, they're not scared anymore. No matter what it is, they're not FDA compliant. They never will be. They just said, you know what, we're going to go do it. And if they snap our fingers over here, that's fine. But that competition came in the last 3 or 4 years, right? So I would say our days of knocking on doors and trying to get in accounts has been over for years. We have not ever gone to a shop that doesn't carry and ask them to carry the brand. We don't do it. Maybe it's for time, right? Maybe we just don't have the time to do that. But I think growing the real estate and justifying your position in the humidors is the biggest challenge, right? Because I think it's perception. We're not different people. We don't have different priorities. We're just busier than we've ever been. So we don't like our retailers to think that we're too big for our britches. We don't need them, because that's not the case. But to change that perception is you've got to maintain the same level of commitment for travel and visits and social media, and just reaching out to them to say Merry Christmas, Happy Thanksgiving, Happy Birthday, Happy Anniversary, all the things you did to get there. Don't forget that, because I felt like a lot of that falls on my shoulders, and maybe I've become lax in that communication, and now I've got to return. So keeping it on the shelf and growing the accounts we have is more important than trying to go get new accounts. That's just our perspective.
Sure.
Right. To your point of competition, I don't know about you, but one of the things I walked away and really shocked me and surprised me the most from the PCA last year were how many companies were there I never heard of, and first-time companies. I can't remember it being so many in a long time, which I found really surprising. Did you notice that?
Well, I didn't go last year for
Oh, well, there you go. You didn't notice it.
But I do follow all the news and all the media and all of it, and you see these brands. And it's funny, a lot of them, I knew them as retail store exclusives from an owner in some state that automatically now has moved into making cigars, and that's his full-time or her full-time job, right? So, yeah, I mean, we're aware because we see those new colors and new boxes and, new cigars showing up on shelves. And a lot of that's how we got there, right? They're encroaching on where that was Southern Draw or where that was company X, Y, or Z. But the fear is gone, right? The fear is gone. I mean, if there's a dream there, how do we do our best without stomping on the hopes and dreams of the new brands that came along. They deserve a shot too, but they better know it's going to be more time, more effort, more energy, more uncomfortable nights and weekends, right? Where everything you own is risked every quarter, because that's what it takes to sustain it, right? You got to have a fear of loss here. But yeah, there's a lot of brands, and of course they're going to come and go, but it's not up to me to determine who comes and goes. That's up to their effort. I heard it a long time ago, but it's very clear to me that it's true, which is your level of success should be commensurate with your level of effort. So we're still willing to give that. I can't speak for everybody else, but we want to make sure that message is clear that we're still willing to give that effort. In turn, we expect to try to be around in perpetuity. We want to be here for a long time.
Question from YouTube, Robert. Are you the blender for your cigars, or what is your?
In short, the answer is yes. And the reason why I say it, and I mentioned this on Kevin's show the other day, is I don't believe there's probably anyone in the cigar industry currently that doesn't collaborate with anyone, that has no one's opinion, anyone's feedback, anybody's access to tobaccos or knowledge or experience or trial and error, just general sharing concepts. So I would say everything is a collaboration. We have incredible partners. And with AJ Fernandez et al., we've been there 10 years. We've just did our 10-year production with AJ Fernandez, right? Everything is collaboration. Now, if he wanted to say I tweaked this and changed that, and he wanted credit, I would wholeheartedly give it to him, and rightfully so. But the reality of it is, they are my blends, they are my concepts, they're the brands that I created. And the reason why I want to make that emphasis on that question is, for me, it's the only thing I have to give the influential people in my life is this story through these cigars and through these blends. And it's been done and will continue to be done in an order of how these people and when they influenced me in my 50 whatever years on this planet, right? So I couldn't let somebody else dictate what that is about their character or personality or their travels or their experiences that impacted me without doing it myself. But I'm always open to suggestions because there's a lot smarter people than me.
Yeah. I think I live with that motto.
Whether we like it or not, you know.
So Kevin Shahan always breaking the news. Is this true? Well, Sharon will be joining you at TGS 2023?
I don't know. You guys got the paperwork from her. I don't know. She didn't share it with me. So I would look. I'll tell you this. I booked her a plane ticket, and I was telling Kevin the other night, it is a rarity with her schedule because she's still in the office working, that she's ever live on camera. She's a very humble lady. Doesn't think that she fits the camera picture mode, and I disagree. I wish we had a Southern Draw calendar of the 27 years together. I really do. But it's going to be great because she's going to be there. Alex, our operations manager, which took Ethan's role when Ethan got extremely ill. And for those people that don't know, Jacob's lighter, Ethan Jacob, our son, he hand-selected his predecessor based on his own health, decline of health that's going to be forever probably. So we're going to have the full core staff for the first time ever at the Great Smoke together.
Oh, wow.
That's awesome.
Looking forward to it. My wife's the same way. She don't like to be on camera or video or anything. She did a couple show with Kevin, actually. Right. Had us on, and it was like, it was really like, I had to kind of plead and beg them, come on, do it. She doesn't like it. She's not up for it. So I totally get that, Robert. PCA this year, do you still have intentions not to go? Now that, you mentioned, I do remember now that you weren't there. Is there any intentions to go this upcoming year? Is that something that's just not on the map for Southern Draw cigars?
My intention is to let this play out in the first quarter. We're big on planning. And in the last couple of years, despite actual COVID and health that almost killed me a few times, and then some unvaccinated family members, and I won't name names, that we relied on for PCA, a lot of risks there that we didn't feel were right. Now this year, I think we're beyond the health issues. And the reason why we haven't made a decision is not for anything other than supply chain. As of right now, if we went, we could introduce nothing, we could share nothing, and we probably couldn't fill the orders that we're going to get even without going.
Right.
So what I've done for the second straight year is step back, let Sharon and Alex review the inventory production forecast, what we've got coming in and out, and they're going to tell me whether we could effectively do that. I mean, we really can't just take a week and go visit, and because it doesn't work for us in the end. It doesn't make sense. But we're going to leave it open for now, and we're not going to TPE, of course. We did decide late in the year last year to go to TPE. By then, it was sold out. It actually has grown quite a bit. They waitlisted us. They did call us, I think, around Christmas and said, "Hey, we got a spot, but how can I execute in 2 months?" We're not that. It's us, right? We don't have a bundle of money where we're hiring somebody to come do it for us. We actually do it. We build. We set up the booth. We man the booth. We break the booth. We clean the booth. Whatever. We bring our own hotspot because we're not going to pay $4,000 for internet, right? So in the end, we'll make that decision and we will make it public. But as of right now, I'm reserved to I'm resolved to the fact that it probably isn't going to happen for us unless something in the supply chain brings the sunshine out, and the pretty flowers. Because right now, I think we're all concerned that we're going to have product and packaging and the ability to maintain what we're already doing.
So, Robert, you have a couple new lines coming hopefully soon, right? This year at some point?
Well, to that point, we spent most of last year in the fall and moving into the winter promoting complementary lines. I mean, obviously, most people know the Rose of Sharon and its lines, and the Jacob's Ladder and its lines. But again, it comes to long-term management of the resources, which are the raw materials that we have, and we wanted to reach a certain capacity of production on those without exceeding that, which is why we don't want to grow those lines. We want to make sure we have enough tobaccos to satisfy the pipeline. That being said, 2 new, 1 very mild Connecticut USA, very unique blend, and then of course another line that is in line with a full-bodied, full-flavored Maduro in the evening Primrose, which is not to be confused with this particular cigar we're smoking today. It is something that doesn't have probably the depth and the grace of this particular cigar, but is a phenomenal blend. But I would say this, as of right now, February, whatever we are, I don't think we're going to have boxes in the next 6 months. And we plan that 2 years in advance and we have the biggest box factories in the world that work with us. Now, it comes down to this, Alex, a great question, which is, do we prioritize our well-known, well-established core lines, national brands, or do we prioritize the new ones to make sure they go out first? And the answer for us was quite simple. At some point, they're going to give us a firm answer on when they can deliver the packaging. And our response thus far has been focus on our national brands first, and then we'll delay if we have to delay. So we would love to release it in February or March as we had planned. The cigars are made. They're ready. They're rocking. The tests market that we put out last year was absolutely phenomenal. We have pre-orders coming out of our ears. But those brands will never take a priority over the national brands that we spent 10 years building. So let's wait and see.
No, I agree with that. Just, and look, a new product does me no good if I have your empty boxes of your old product sitting on my shelf with no cigars in them for months. So,
Amen.
No,
Amen.
Absolutely.
Very sound strategy, actually. Very sound strategy. When you said hotspot, I want to bring this up so I don't forget, right? Because this thing with Steve, I don't know if it started in fun, but it looks like he's going for it. So I came up with an idea, since we know you have very good connectivity wherever you're at. The last event is March 1st. If he succeeds in going 5 for 5, Stephen, I will send you a package that I will seal in a way that you cannot open. And we will, right? I need to think about this because I forgot this is not 2020, 2021, the digital experience. We don't have the sound sets. I can't remember if we were able to bring somebody in, but I'm going to try. I'm going to try so that we could seal this as a unboxing during the Great Smoke broadcast. So that's the idea I'm having it. We definitely had simulcast people calling in during the digital experience, but we had to make a mock side stage to do it live and virtual last year, and I don't know if we lost that ability or not, but these guys might be able to do something. I'm going to run it by them this week. And we can. I am going to send you a special package you cannot open, and we will do the live unboxing and tell the story of how you went 5 for 5 as part of the Great Smoke broadcast this year. I like that idea. Tell a story. That is a
That's
story.
A good idea. I like that. Hey man,
Yeah.
Steven's a trooper. He's on it, and he's got himself, some great cigars to smoke. So, and I got to tell you, still going through this, and this is in a class with the best of the TGS releases we've had. It really is.
Oh wow!
I mean,
Now
it really is. This is phenomenal. 6.5 by 48, just a size in itself. The smell is unique. And oddly, I'm more of a drier cigar kind of guy to begin with. I like
Me
my
too.
cigars a little drier. I don't, and that makes sense what Robert said. For something that heavy, you kind of want it to be a little firmer. It doesn't smoke as well soft. So this fits right up my alley, and I'm really enjoying this. This is not one to miss, folks.
I'm going to tell you, for everybody who got a chance and got their order in, take a moment and really just enjoy the aroma of the cigar, because that's all I've been able to do now for the last 42 minutes. But enjoy the aroma of the cigar. Take a moment, because I'm telling you, it really is unique. I've been, around cigars now for the better portion of my life, and this has a distinct and very enjoyable aroma pre-light. I can't imagine what it's going to be like once I start lighting it.
We
Yes.
appreciate it.
Very well done.
I always get excited when at the factory and the quality control level, when they single something out and go, what in the hell is this? And why did you make so few? And so when you hear that from quality control, why did you make, because they've packaged and it's the same people. We've never lost anybody in that process in 10 years. But when they make a point to send a WhatsApp to me to go, why did we make so few of these? Was that a mistake? No. Just smoke a few. Just pull them aside and say they didn't, when you color sorted them, these, I want you to smoke them because they have incredible palates. They taste everything that comes out of the factory.
Sure.
And they say, Mr. Robert, listen, you didn't make enough of these. And I'm like, beautiful.
That's when you're on to something.
Yeah. So, we're excited to share and see. Listen, you got some real class acts blending and producing some great cigars for you, and they're all special and unique. And, they're all our babies in the end. We went to the kitchen and we went to the market and got the ingredients and we prepared it. And, there's a way we like to eat it, and in this case, we don't mind sharing that, and everybody's going to do their own thing. But smoke that cigar and then put one out for a couple of days and then come back and smoke another cigar and see what I'm telling you. I think you'll see a distinct difference in the experience if you do what I said. It maybe seem comical or even gimmick, but I've done it. And I took these out, by the way, 2 nights ago when we did Kevin's couple show. And I took them out and I put them on my desk so that I could enjoy 2 today. I already had one today, I won't lie, when I was touring the ice storm. But I did test them at the end, but they were at 62%. But I think even closer to 60, Alex, would be optimal for you. If you like that nice, firm, almost it's like you put it and baked it slowly. It's got a nice crust on it. It's got a feel to it.
So another question from YouTube, and we didn't actually touch on this. You said straight cut is the way for this cigar, which for me is fine because I don't V-cut anything. I'm a straight cut guy.
Well, I said that because it's the best experience for this particular cigar. But if I just went to the rule of thumb, Cameron, I would say this about us. I know how we roll. I know how we cap all of our cigars. I know there's a lot of tools and gadgets, and a lot of them are sponsors, and they're great to collect and have in your humidors and in your offices and your cars and travel kits. But for me, it's quite simple on this cigar. For the proper amount of smoke, the proper draw, the proper temperature, the proper burn rate, the straight cut is optimal. Now, if I had made this cigar on a Pyramidase or a Bellicoso Fino, I would tell you an angle cut. Hit that 30, 35 degree angle, because being a triple cap cigar, if you cut a Pyramidase or a Bellicoso of ours straight, you're not going to have proper airflow. It's not going to cut through all the caps. It's going to be very limited right down the middle. It's going to get a little warm and maybe even bitter. But that's why I told you to do it, because this is a Parejo. It's a straight cigar, and I want you to cut it straight so it's proper. The entire experience cold draw, the toasting or the warming of the foot to the ignition of it. Don't feel like you got to put too much fire into this thing. Just let it warm up a little bit, light it, and that straight cut is going to allow you to really draw those flavors. It's never going to be tight. It's never going to be loose. You're not going to get bitterness. You're not going to get tar. You're going to taste the entire blend if you do it the way I recommend. And if not, maybe trial and error. Maybe cut it your way, your favorite cutter, whether you're a punch guy, a V cut, a deep V cut, little pins and needles, whatever those little punchers with the 5 blades. Hey, do them all. This was my recommendation based on the fact that I've smoked about 1,000 of them.
Listen, that's good with me. I've no knock on V cuts and punches and do what you like, but I've never been a guy who said like I'm getting too much smoke from this cigar. I wish I got just a little less smoke. And that's just me. No knock on I know guys that cut everything, things that shouldn't even be cut with a V cut, with V cuts, and that's fine. For me, I'm more smoke the better. I don't want to have to work a second job to get some smoke out of a cigar.
Amen.
What a great point. And you couldn't ask for a better explanation than that. That was a pretty thorough answer to that question. And, as part of just want everybody to know, because, it's funny. Most people, from what I've heard now, who were there live last year, went back and watched it virtual, kind of had a secondary experience. But as one of the makers of our TGS exclusive releases this year, Robert Holt will be on the main stage during the Great Smoke event for a very special one-on-one session with the man himself, the quintessential host with the most, Michael Herklotz. So that should be fun. That'll be on the main stage for everybody who's there live and broadcast to all of you at home, in your man caves, at your watch party with your friends who'll be watching the Great Smoke virtually. So looking forward to that this year. And Robert, anything once the ice starts cracking and melting and it looks like we're beyond the Armageddon, is there anywhere you're on the road? Are you going anywhere people could look for you, hopefully maybe find you, catch up with you?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, let's call it what it is. The event season starts with a Great Smoke, period, plain and simple. Every year we've been invited. That's when our event season starts. Leading up to that, it's handling production, import, taking a look at what we have to sell for the year. That's what we use January, February. A lot of retailers don't fill their warehouses full of tobacco in Q4 because of floor tax based on state. So we're catching up right now. We're getting to assess all the toys we have to play with. We come down to sunny Florida. We smoke, we drink, we throw beads at people, and I'll be the tall, ugly guy that is dressed in pauper's clothes compared to Mr. Herklotz. So it'll be easy to tell us apart. But we're back on the routine. We will do all the major cigar festivals by region as those become available. Obviously, we'll do quite a bit here in Texas, but we've got the tour bus, and we're going to use it now that we're not seeing $8 a gallon gas. But what we'll do at Southern Draw or at SD Cigars, Southern Draw Cigars on Facebook, Instagram, on a monthly basis where we're going, and so that people don't waste their time, resources, and their days off at work. I'll post the ones that the boss lady will go to as well, so you can prioritize. And the ones I'm doing on my own, I'll share that as well. But we'll do that on a monthly basis. But it all starts right there in West Palm. That's when our holiday season begins.
Awesome. Looking forward to it.
I'm actually, he mentioned beads and whatnot. I'm looking for the picture, man. We have too many pictures, me and you, back and forth in text. I'm looking for the picture of you. I don't know why you don't show that enough. That's a great picture.
With all the beads?
Yeah.
Let's see if I can find it.
You really haven't shared that enough on social media, but it's a great.
What do we have? 10,000 beads, Dave?
Yeah, like 10, 15,000 beads. They're going to be slung. We were actually at one point crazy enough trying to build like an inside facade that looked like a 2-story building and actually have people propped up throwing the beads from above. But that was one of the far-fetched ideas that didn't quite pan out for the Great Smoke 2023.
Well, I think if that's the only thing that didn't get done, you did just okay.
Yeah, right.
We can imagine because there's nothing like being on Bourbon Street, hanging over those old wrought iron, railings that aren't even up to code ever and never will be. And if you drink
Sure.
it up and fall, nobody cares anyway. But we can pretend if we have the beads, we all know how to get them, right?
I hate telling people about our ideas that don't come to fruition because then that's all they remember. Oh, that would have been awesome. It didn't happen. But I
Yeah.
was really in love with this. Like from the moment we decided we were doing Mardi Gras, we're in the main exhibit hall, and they have these like 2 bay doors up like on the second floor. Like, it's a good 20 plus feet above the ground. And I wondered what they were. Oh, here it is. Look at that. If you're not sure whether you're going to have enough beads or not at the Great Smoke, those are what we have. So you will have a plethora of beads to choose from.
I gotta tell you, it's probably better that we're not throwing them from up high because the size of some of them, they're not.
Well, some of them you can't throw, obviously.
Yeah, they are some big sets of beads, man.
You look like Mr. T, you look just like Mr. T there. A quick small story. Last year, Sharon and I had to go to Capitol Hill, DC, to testify U.S. Small Business Association on some tobacco. The day that they were voting on the big tobacco tax, 1,000%. We were there on the floor with the committees, and we were listening to the challenges of certain small businesses and veteran-owned business across the U.S. So here's the funny part. The one guy had the 100 and whatever year old family business in New Orleans that makes all the king cakes.
Oh, wow.
And I mean, all the king cakes, whatever that company. And he was, I mean, we actually were Googling it to see if that was the guy, right? Because everybody knows what a king cake is. So the committee chair, which is now the Speaker of the House, says to him, well, what's exactly your challenge? I mean, we don't understand. We're talking about legitimate, stumbling blocks to the success of small business. He said, I've got 1 million plastic babies sitting in a storage container off the coast of California that I can't get unloaded. And he needed them then, like he needed them in November to be prepared for Mardi Gras this year. True story. And we just thought, and it might have been 10 million, I don't know, whatever, it was some millions of plastic babies. And I said to Sharon, man, if we just had one injection mold for these little babies, we could like fix this guy's problem and make a mint, right? But it was all about the labor issues and being able to offload, container ships. But he had millions of babies. So if you get a cake this year and it doesn't have a baby, we know what happened.
We know that story all too well, unfortunately, all too well.
Right. But, they may have been sitting on the same ship that our advent calendars were in.
But yeah, throwing the beads from a higher end, just have this fake facade was like, I really was working. I didn't want to give it up, and it wasn't going to happen. So that was one of the things that coulda, shoulda, woulda been, but won't happen this year. But there'll be an assortment of other cool things at the Great Smoke Mardi Gras Madness. Robert, thank you for taking time to join us. Listen, thank you so much for being involved, making us something special. I apologize. I haven't smoked this before the show. My timing was to do it today during the broadcast, but my wife and I have 2 cigars and a bottle of wine we've been breathing. We're going to go out on the line. I'm going to smoke this. I'm going to post it right as we smoke it, how much hopefully we enjoy it. But I cannot wait to light it up. It really is a unique smell. And once everybody who's lucky enough to get some and order some, comment, let me know when you smell it if it wasn't as unique as I said it was. But thank you so much for joining us. We all have busy schedules, so I know on top of everything, you coming out tonight and helping us launch and drop the cigar for our Great Smoke fans out there. It's in the TGS store. It's one of the perks of being involved and being part of the Great Smoke is you get the opportunity to get some pretty cool projects made by some pretty cool people such as this. Any closing words before we head out, Robert?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we're honored. We're appreciative. We're glad to get into the rotation and share something special and new for TGS. And it says it right there on there. It's 2023 limited edition TGS, baby. And that is the Southern Draw Cigars Weather Vane with the Night Stock flower. And it's always pointed south. And we'd say it's great to point south in the winter, except I'm in the middle of an ice storm, so that killed that deal. We're done with that. But I would like to know this, when you guys enjoy that, because one of the recommendations that are impossible to make for cigars is a suggestion to pair with red wine. And I think I
That's what
absolutely
we're doing.
my soul right now that this, and I don't know which bottle you got breathing, but I have a feeling that this will be one of those experiences you'll remember, because I know these tobaccos. I know the pH of these tobaccos. I know how that affects the palate, especially with a pretty heavy bodied red wine. And I'm anxious to hear what it is, because now, we've got family that own wineries. Shout out to our Murray family out there in California with Beach House Winery. But now I'm going to go get a bottle of red, and I'm going to smoke one in your honor and say thank you on behalf of our family. And we'll see you at Mardi Gras 2023.
See you not too long in the future. We got a bottle of Cab. I'm pretty sure she opened a bottle of Cab, so we'll be having a Cab shortly. Thanks to the GOAT, as always, for all your technical guidance and support. Derek, it's open for sale. It's in the Great Smoke store. So if you got your ticket, Alex made a nice little button on the homepage of smoking.com. You can enter the store directly from there. It's available for sale. It'll be there until it's gone. We'll see you again in 2 weeks as we have Rafael Nadal with the special release, Altus USA, a TGS Monte Cristo that we will be showcasing and featuring in 2 weeks. And we'll see if Steven can keep his streak. Until then, everyone, thank you for joining us. Keep it lit, and we'll see you soon. Peace.